Dr. Kimishima, we've identified the vehicle from the accident.
Good. That's rather quick. For you guys.
Hey, come on. We're a national government agency. We'll have the recording from the driver's interview later. He pretty much admits to what we suspected had happened. So, case closed?
Easy there. It's too early to relax yet.
What do you mean? I mean, the culprits.
Do you think that just catching the truck driver will solve this case?
Doesn't it?
A 23-year-old woman was walking alone in the mountains 8 kilometers from home. You think she was just walking the dog?
Okay, that does sound odd. So the investigation's not over yet.
Indeed. Go look into the parents' hospital records. From the size of those bruises, they would have needed to be treated at a hospital.
Got it. What will you be doing, Dr. Kimishima?
I'm going to investigate the victim's house. Keep the parents in custody until I'm done.
Right. I'll tell the ones in charge right now.
These pieces of glass seem to have come from a mirror. Let's see. Ah, the mirror on the dresser's been broken. I wonder what happened to it. Broken? A reaction to the lumen. It seems there's something here that isn't part of the broken mirror. It's the same earring that the man who had found the body had stolen. But what would this be doing here? Indeed. All the shattered glass was neatly placed in one area. That means that someone had cleaned up the glass shards. They must have swept up the earring along with the glass. If that's the case, was the earring with the glass pieces when the mirror was broken? In any case, since it reacted with the spray, there must be blood on this earring. I'll need to have the little guy analyze it and see if it tells us anything.
Dr. Kimishima, we've received the interview with the truck driver from the accident.
Huh, all right. How did he seem?
It's easy to sympathize with him. Sounds like a case of wrong time, wrong place.
I see. All right, I'll check the recorder.
Please do. I'll transfer it over to you.
I need to pay careful attention to his account of what happened before and after the accident. What Veronica was doing prior to being hit, and what the driver did afterwards. That's what I should be sure to listen for.
What do you want? I didn't do anything. I don't know. A woman. That woman. It's not my fault. I was supposed to drive a shipment to a nearby town. Damn it, they forced me to do it. Why the hell would someone be sleeping in the middle of a mountain road at midnight anyway? It's not my fault. It's not my fault. I turned a corner and she was lying on the bridge.
She was sleeping on the bridge? This seems a little odd. If this man was telling the truth, then the victim had already collapsed there from the start. It doesn't seem like he was lying, but what in the world does this mean?
I slammed on the brakes, but I wasn't fast enough, and I ran her over. I got out of the truck to see, and she wasn't breathing. I got out. I panicked, and I threw her off the bridge.
He threw the victim's body over the bridge. This means that the victim wasn't knocked off the bridge by being struck by a vehicle. Yes, both these facts relate to the victim. If I were to sum up the driver's account prior to the accident, the victim was... Right. The victim had already been collapsed on the road, and after he ran her over, the driver... Yes, he threw the victim over the bridge. Little guy, what's the FBI's opinion about this?
He's already admitted to killing her. Why would he lie about that?
Indeed. His account coincides with the evidence I had found as well.
What evidence?
Well, if she had been standing when she was hit by the truck, the fractures to her bones would have indicated a strong impact from one certain direction. In this case, nothing of that sort was observed.
I see. What about the shattered skull, then?
The skull fractures are consistent with a strong impact to the top of the head. It would be unnatural for it to have been due to a car accident. Considering what happened to the victim, it can be deduced that something else caused that fracture. That is... Yes. If she was unconscious when she fell from the bridge, the fracture due to an impact to the top of the skull is understandable.
I see. You're right, that does make more sense.
Yes. However, that raises questions about the victim herself. Why in the world was this woman so far from home? And why would she be lying in the middle of a bridge in the mountains at that time of night?
That's a valid point. I guess there are still some mysteries left unsolved here.
Indeed. We'll have to continue investigating in more detail.
Dr. Kimishima, we were able to look into the parents' injuries.
Good job. What did you find?
Yes, there were records that the parents had been going to a hospital, like you said. Let's see, it looks like they'd started being frequent visitors to the hospital 2 months ago.
How many times is frequent?
Oh, we didn't check every detail, but it was several times, ending about a month ago. The hospital staff seemed worried since many of the injuries seemed to be signs of abuse.
Did they tell the doctors who had been physically assaulting them?
No, they didn't. However, some of their injuries were quite severe. The mother seemed to have suffered some visual impediments due to a wound on her eye.
I see. Further investigation is required to determine who had been abusing them. Hey, little guy, I need you to analyze something.
Sure, send it over to me. I see. There's blood on it. The DNA matches the victim as well. Also, this metal fitting seems warped. Could it be worn out from use?
That doesn't seem to be the case. Look again at the bloodstain.
The bloodstain?
It's not on the ornament. It's on the needle part that goes through the ear. If there's blood there that matches the victim, then the earring was...
If that's the case, the damage to the fitting makes sense, but what could happen that would cause an earring to be torn off?
I don't know yet. Still, there must be some connection to everything else here. I think this information may lead us to some more concrete evidence. True. Both of these facts relate to the earrings. The victim was discovered with only one of these earrings, and the other one was discovered in her room with her blood on it. Normally, if someone had an earring torn off to the point that it caused bleeding, they would have to realize that something was wrong. Still, the victim was on a bridge 8 kilometers away from her home. What this shows is that That's right. She didn't leave this room by her own will. She was probably forced out of here by someone else. That could explain how one of the earrings was left in the room. But why would whoever abducted her leave her on a bridge 8 kilometers away? I feel like there's a lot of truth that remains to be uncovered.
Dr. Kimishima, the results of the analysis on the corpse have come back.
Good. Did they find anything new?
It looks that way. The report indicates that the fractures to the femurs and skull, they were all posthumous injuries.
So these wounds were inflicted after she died?
Yes, that's what the report says.
The victim's femurs were fractured in the accident with the truck. Her skull was shattered when her body was dropped from the bridge. We've confirmed that both those injuries occurred after death. From those facts, it's clear that when the victim was on the bridge, yes, even if she hadn't been run over by the truck, she was already dead. That means that the driver was telling the truth in his interrogation.
Then does that mean that she was kidnapped from her room, murdered, and then had her corpse dumped on that bridge?
I don't know that just yet. We'll need to investigate a little more. It's an ordinary package of breath mints. You can get them anywhere. Still. Just as I thought. These aren't mints in here. These markings seem to indicate that this medication was produced for a pharmacy. I might be able to ask the little guy to find out just what it is. Hey, little guy. I need you to analyze this medication.
Yes, of course. Did you find it in the victim's room?
That's right. It looks like it's prescribed medication. But what is it?
Who knows? It's definitely no common over-the-counter drug. I'd suspect that this would have to be prescribed by a doctor before someone can buy it.
I see, that makes sense. This could mean that the victim had attended a hospital. Was the victim suffering from some kind of injury or disease? If our analysis continues, we may find something out.
Bye.
Mishima, about that prescription.
Did you find something out?
Yes, we found which hospital the victim had been going to and requested her charts. It says Veronica had been to the hospital a month prior to her death. Her symptoms were migraines, visual and auditory hallucinations, mood swings, and aggression. It also says she was vomiting blood and had convulsions, along with hemoptysis.
Convulsions? Vomiting blood?
Yes, that's what it says. The doctors urged her to have more detailed examinations, but it seems that she had no intention of listening to them. In the end, she left the hospital and whatever disease she had went unconfirmed.
If only her doctor had forced her to be hospitalized.
That's just how things are these days. Don't really get concerned about strangers.
Let's continue with the investigation. Sorry for being emotional just now. In any case, we don't know what disease she had. Judging from her symptoms, it was something severe.
I agree. If we find anything out, I'll be sure to let you know immediately.
You do that. It may give us another hint in solving this case. True, these two do share a common link. The victim's hospital records say she'd been at the hospital since... That was careless. Yes, 2 months ago. For the month before her death, she'd been treated at the hospital. Now, the parents' hospital records say they'd been visiting the hospital since... Yes, they also started visiting the hospital 2 months ago. Veronica was going for migraines, hallucinations, mood swings, and vomiting blood. And her parents were going after suffering frequent injuries. A month before the victim was found dead, the parents suddenly stopped having these injuries. An unpleasant coincidence, to be sure. I hope there's no connection here. Yes, we can put these two facts together. According to the chart from the hospital, the victim's condition caused her to vomit blood. If she had continued to vomit blood after her hospital visit, that would explain the bloodstains on her clothing. Yes. Thus, these bloodstains were caused by the blood that she had vomited. First, the pathological changes. There's no knowing what disease she had. However, if this discoloration of the bones shows the existence of a focus, it's safe to assume that whatever disease she was suffering from was in an advanced state. The massive bloodstains on her clothes came from her vomiting blood. There aren't many conditions that cause that much hemorrhaging. From these 2 points alone, I conclude that she was already in terminal condition. Even if she hadn't been killed, she was already on the brink of death.
I see. I feel sorry for her, but if that's the case, then why?
Why was she kidnapped? I still have my doubts about that, actually. Did the murderer kidnap her? Or did that even happen?
What do you mean?
Whatever the case, she was definitely taken from her home before she died. The question now is what happened between the time she was taken until the car accident.
Right, I follow you.
Once we know that, we should finally be able to see the real truth behind this case. Little guy, I'm going to check the victim's room one more time.
I thought you might want to, so I have a new tool ready for you.
Someone's prepared. And what kind of present do you have for me?
It's not the most appropriate gift for a lady, but it's aluminum powder for finding fingerprints. There are some useful additions to the mixture.
Ah, great. I'm impressed.
I'm glad you like it. Spread the powder anywhere that looks suspicious and shine your investigation light on it.
And that'll make any fingerprints stand out? All right, I'll give it a try.
Good luck. Well then.
So many. These are all the same fingerprints. It's likely they belong to the victim. Now, why would she leave so many fingerprints on the floor? Yes, she was probably crawling on the floor to move around. The prints indicate she was heading toward... The prints on the floor lead to the room's entrance. They're even under the mat. What's underneath the mat? Nothing. What could this mean? Just as I thought, these are bloodstains. They must be Veronica's. Considering the facts so far, these bloodstains must have been caused by... Yes, Veronica's clothing was covered in blood that she had vomited. The amount of blood here is more than would be a fatal loss in most people, but there's something odd about these bloodstains. Blood is a liquid. It should be evenly spread across the floor. If there was one reason for the bloodstains to be shaped like this, it would have to be... I can't mess around anymore. It's time to get serious. Yes. This door was closed when Veronica was vomiting blood. That's why the blood spread unevenly. This door had been closed when Veronica was vomiting blood. Thus, the room is now in the same condition as it was when that happened. The lower part of the door has numerous scratches on it. What could these scratches be? Huh? Bloodstains? Inside the scratch marks? From looking at the shape and location of these scratches, they are... I can't make any more rash decisions. I need to think cautiously. Yes, these are traces that someone had clawed at the door. On top of that, it was done with such desperation that their own nails cracked and bled. These bloodstains are at the entrance to the room. The door was closed when Veronica vomited blood. That, along with the scratches on the inside of the door, there's just one sad conclusion we can reach from all this. I can't make any more rash decisions. I need to think cautiously. Yes, Veronica was prevented from leaving.